What's up, my fans? This is Stan Series, and in today's video, we're going to be talking and do a spoiler review on the Eternals film. So, I went to watch it today, and let me tell you this now. It was pretty amazing. All I was going to say is, I really enjoyed the film. Now, I know on the internet for the last couple of days, I have been hearing about, there's been bad reviews, people are giving it a good review, or the water tomatoes or whatever you want to call that has had a bad reading, and there's all that and there. But look, to those people, I was going to say, I don't know what you're on, but to me, the film was alright. Okay, that's your opinion, you didn't like it, but for me, I still enjoyed it. I mean, yes, I have a couple of things, only like around 2, that was a problem, but we will get into that in the video. But the rest of it, it was fine. It was watchable. It was pretty good. So before I start spoiling the film, as always I like to always say, if you haven't seen the film yet, leave the video now, and then once you see it, you can come back here. Or, if you're one of those people you ain't that bothered, and you don't mind with spoilers, well, sit down and relax, and get a popcorn when you're at it, because we're going to get into this. So, also as well, I might miss some bits out, like I always notice I do in my videos, but if I do, it was like an accident, but in a way it's like, oh, it's a surprise. Dad did not say about this bit, so it's like a surprise. So, when do we start over this film then? So, obviously in the beginning, the opening scene really surprised me. I thought we would have started with our Marvel logo first, but no. We jumped to the, like Star Wars, like when every time the title was up and then we get the words out, saying about in the galaxy far, far, like the little title, like saying about, oh, this is what's going on and all that. We get something like that, but it's obviously more than in the beginning, obviously the Celestials, Eternals, Deviants. It kind of gives you the idea like, oh, that and that. But then we come across, then in the info, we learn that, a one Celestial called Asheris, the Judge. I'm sorry if I'm going to dodge names wrong, but it's the Red Celestial. And in the info, it says that he sends the Eternals, obviously the members in the film, to go to Earth, obviously to protect it from Deviants. So there we get to see their ship, and we see like, they're all preparing to get their uniforms on, and they're coming close to Earth. And it seems like as well, it's the first time that Ikaris and Sersi meet for the first time. So that's pretty cool. It was like, alright. So this is a win. Alright. This is the first time they meet. Because I thought they might have, react to one another before the mission, but it seems like they haven't. They come to Earth, and obviously you see a bunch of humans, like a tribe, and they start getting attacked by the Deviants. But luckily the Eternals come in, they start kicking their asses and all that. They save the humans, and then it's like, okay, looks like the Eternals are about to start helping humanity and defend from Deviants. But then we cut to the present day in obviously, well, I don't know if it's set like 2021 or 2022. No. Of course it's 2024, 23, 2024, like that kind of thing. I just remembered because I thought it'd be a gap in Endgame. But it's one of those areas. I don't know if it's set like I said, 2023 or 2024. It's one of those, or it could be 2025. They don't really say in the film. But obviously we see Sersi, like I said, I might be dodging names, now in the London, and she's obviously working in a Natural History Museum. We obviously get introduced to Dane Whitman. I'm sorry if I'm dodging that name wrong as well. Who is the Black Knight? And it shows that, they're already together, her and obviously the Black Knight. Now, through her teaching, in the middle of her class, the earthquake starts, and it's like, very weird, but that comes into it later in the story, or what happens there. Then we cut to her in the bar with Danny, because they looks like their plans going out, and we found out it's his birthday. And we get the introduction to another Eternal, Sprite, who is the young Eternal. Even if she's that old, she is young. And it seems like as well, when you hear the dialogues, when you hear all three of them together, it's like, the Black Knight knows that she's an Eternal and all that. Because I thought first, I was like, does he not know that she's an Eternal and all that? But then I was like, does he know the Four and everything about her? But then here, it looks like, okay, it's like, I think he knows what she is, but maybe it's like, he hasn't given the Four info, what they are and everything. But then when a Deviant comes out of nowhere, and he's like, and then obviously when Sprite says a Deviant, then he goes like, I thought you killed them all. So it's like, oh, yep. So it's like he knows what a Deviant is. And then obviously they get attacked by it, but then Ikaris makes an appearance to help them out. And then they injure it, but they notice that it started with generating a pod that was broken, and they notice, wait a minute, only Ajax has that ability to do that. Because we learn in the beginning, in that part of the film, you see that Ajax has the ability of healing. And they notice, why is the Deviant doing that as well? So it's like, that's a bit weird. So they decide, let's go to Ajax, and say what's going on. So they head to obviously her place, but obviously they notice, well, she's dead. And they think, and it looks like they say, a Deviant did the attack and everything. Now, obviously, we do in the film as well, I was going to say, we do get some flashbacks in the film. So obviously the one flashback you get, obviously before that bit of finally Ajax dead, you get one where they're showing off the Eternals obviously fighting Deviants. It was like around, what was it? It was like obviously what the eras. I would have to look that up in a sec actually, but it shows you that. But then obviously after that, yes, they find Ikaris dead. It's like, oh my god, and all that. It was like how that happened and everything. Well, like I said, they found there's a Deviant. So they go like, well, what's next with all that? What we gonna do? But obviously, before they decide about what they're gonna do, Sersi, obviously by Ajax, a mysterious ball comes out of her. Now you learn in the film that Ajax has this mysterious ball, and you learn that she uses that to communicate with the red Celestial, the Judge one, and he feels, that's how she communicates with that one. So now it's been passed on to Sersi, and she sees him as well, and he starts talking about it has begun. You had to be prepared for it. It's like you're like, wait, what's begun? But obviously, she didn't get the full info of what is that then about. But then obviously they go like, well, what are we going to do next now and all that? So she didn't get like I say, she doesn't get the full on info. Oh, what's happening now then and all that. I got the info. I'm just looking through the info here because I'm like, there's a bit here they're not explaining what does happen like after that, but it's like, let's see, so yeah, just excuse me, I'm really trying to really make sure I'm on the right spot. So I explain about that. Well, that's a bit weird. But anyways, obviously, what they do, they obviously go and find obviously find one of their own Eternals, and the next one was what was his name? He's the one who was like a bodyhood star actor in it, so they go and meet up with him, and obviously tell him the news that Ajax is dead and all that, and he decides to come along with them as well to find the others. Then obviously we get like I said, we get some other flashbacks of the past. So we get another time period, like when when you see all the Eternals. In that point of time, you see that one of the Eternals named Druig, I'm pretty sure I might dodge his name, but the names are down on the screen anyway. He's the one who can mind control people, and he's like, he gets completely peed off at Ajax, who was like, we can't. I was like, yeah, please of her, saying we can't do this, do that, that kind of thing. But it's but he's saying like, why can't I just try, if I could do that to them, like mind control them, everything would be perfect, they won't have to fight one another and all that. Which he actually tries to do at one point. But then obviously they notice that another character, obviously Thena, if I said her name right, the cousin of Thanos, some reason she starts attacking them, and it's like, okay, why would you start attacking your own family? But then Ajax reveals that she's got a sickness in her, so it's like, she can't help it. And at one point, Ajax had an idea of, just wipe her memories, and she doesn't remember who she is in the Eternals. But that doesn't happen because the other member of the Eternals, Gilgamesh, I think I'm saying. Well, he also goes by Forgetter One or Hero. He says, look, don't do that. I'll stay with her. I'll keep an eye on her and make sure and obviously both of us can just go somewhere when we're not around you. But obviously Ajax already was planning to, we're finally done now with the mission. Go somewhere in the world, live your lives. So it's like, the family's split up and all that. But then obviously then they do find they actually do find those two, and they're in a hidden outside place, and it's with nothing around really, but there's a house building and all that. But then notice a deviant did come for them, but it's dead. But then obviously they give the news to Gilgamesh. I think I'm saying it right. Giving the news also about Ajax is dead. Obviously they must have said it to Thena as well. And then obviously they have a family dinner together, but then Sersi was I need some fresh air. But then she's tried to get to communicate with our Celestial again, but she can't get the board to work. But she takes advice from Gilgamesh saying about, obviously, you force it, you need to let it happen, like that kind of thing. When she does eventually get in touch with him, you get to find out a lot more about the Eternals. So you find out that, the Eternals are actually robots, or you could call them androids, robots. He explains about all that. And he also explains of you Eternals have been to other planets and you had them destroyed. Well, ready to be destroyed by a celestial egg. And then I'm like, wait, why don't we remember all that? And it turns out the celestial just wipe their memories every time they complete the mission. But she also learns as well that, he created the Deviants to do that kind of job. But he says, but through their evolution, they evolved and and looks like they didn't want to be, slaves, being kind of that kind of work. So that's why his next project was the Eternals too. But that's why he made them different, so they wouldn't do the same thing what the Deviants did. But then also, like I said, she learns as well that, this planet has a celestial egg, and they realize, by doing what they did, helping humanity, making sure having more humans on the planet, it's time for the celestial egg to hatch and obviously create a new celestial called, he did have a name, Tarvaz, or it has that kind of name. Like I said, the name will be in the description anyway. So then after she's done communicating with that celestial, she's like, why, we gotta stop the egg from destroying the earth. And I'm like, how are they gonna do that? And I'm like, we could put it to sleep. And that's when they come up we need to find, obviously, Druig. They need to find him. So they head off to, I believe it was in the Amazon, and they find that there's some kind of hidden kind of a tribe place with houses and everything. And that's where they find out, he's there and he's been controlling the people there. But it looks like he must have controlled the people, which you learn the century I said where they were when they all split up. The people he got mind control there, it seems like he must have kept their generations, who obviously later on kept that generation obviously from that to that place still. And obviously they explained to him about, we need you here, we need you to come with us to do this and all that, but he just didn't agree on them first. But then, obviously, they get attacked by the Deviants, and they come out of nowhere, start attacking all of them. But then, the one Deviant who was attacking them in London is there, and then he takes on the map, goes against Gilgamesh, but surprisingly kills him. And what he does, he's a tentacles, drain him, and you see that's how he got Ajax powers, by doing that, which leads to him dying. And next thing, you see him transforming into the villain. I was like, oh my god, that's the villain, to Korg. If I'm pretty sure I spelled his name right, Kro. It's because at first I was like, well, where's the Deviant leader? Where is he? Because he was never appeared. But then you learn, there you go, there's the Deviant leader. And I was like, okay, that's something I didn't expect. But then he escapes, runs off after he drained, obviously taking Gilgamesh's powers. Because that was the thing as well. So it seems like, when he does that, he takes the Eternals' powers. So he's got Ajax and Gilgamesh's powers. So, very interesting. Because Gilgamesh, he's a bit, he can create I want to say armor, but it's a projected kind of armor glove thing. So it's that's what he can do. But then obviously after they lost him and they do like a burial thing and they're like, what are we going to do now? And there's like, oh, we need to find Thanos. I think I spelled his name right. It's the Phastos. And what this Eternal can do is he has the ability to create anything. Because in one point you see him like he tries to create, like he's creating an engine, but they all going like, no, I don't think this point of this time period, they're not ready for that technology. So it's like he can create technology, he can create anything really. So they go and find him, but now you see that, oh, he has settled down with a guy. Yes, he is the character who is a gay character in the MCU, who has a kid as well with this human guy. So they go to him. And when you learn as well from Sprite, I believe, you learn that, at one point he gave up on humanity because of what happened, but then obviously Thanos explained that, look, when I met him and all that, he brought a bit of me back of, loving humans again. So obviously they're asking him to help him out to put the celestial egg to sleep. Then he goes like, and obviously the human partner was like, you gotta go with them, you gotta save the earth, because obviously they're part of it. They learned that, because obviously part of it, obviously like I said about the celestial egg, they learned that the earth would be destroyed if the egg hatched, But then obviously when all the Eternal, and then they all head to this site, and it's like, the ship is there, so they find it. Inside the ship, they find the other Eternal who also has been living there, and that's the deaf female version. The female speedster, Makkari, something like that. Well, her name is spelled with M-A-K-K and then A-R-I. And then it's like, okay, they got all the Eternals back together again, except Ajax. And then, obviously, Thena explains about what if we can create this device and we can make a mind to try to put that egg to sleep. Which are like, let's do that then, let's do it. But then you also learn as well about of what really happened to Ajax, because he flashbacks 6 days ago is showing you that Ikaris and Ajax met up. But early in the film, you learned that Ajax knew what was going on. Like, we were really sent here to get prepared for the egg, and obviously Ikaris knew as well. But obviously, what happened was, looks like Ajax, after they split up, Ajax obviously went around the world and all that and had a change of heart about the plan. But Ikaris was like, no, we need to do this. This is what we're here for. And then at one point, Ikaris takes her to a location where it looks like an ice place. And he says, some time ago, these Deviants came out of the ice and looks like they've been frozen there for a long time. And then Ikaris explains to him, like, change your mind now and I won't kill you. Like that kind of thing. He looked like that kind of deal. But what he does is he pushes her, and she forced by the area, fights the Deviants, but obviously the leader of the Deviants, you get to see, the moment when he did drain her and took her powers, and then you see, yes, it was the Deviant that killed her, but Ikaris was responsible for that. And then obviously he took her body back to the farm, so he made it look like that, she died at the farm where the Deviants attacked, and he wasn't there, but obviously now they all know what happened. Then obviously Ikaris explains that I can't let you do this because this has to happen. And it's like, if we don't do this, another planet cannot be created and all that. Which I'm like, I couldn't understand that bit about that plot. I'm like, well, can't they just make another egg without... can't the Celestials just make another egg even if this one doesn't hatch? I'm like, well, I'm sure they could do that, can they? But I don't know. But then he destroys the device, obviously what they were going to try to use to make the Unimind. And then Sprite actually joins him, because obviously in the film you learn that she loves him, and she hated about the, why am I the only Eternal that doesn't grow old and I'm small and everything. And obviously, like I said, she had a crush on Ikaris for a long time. But obviously in the story you saw that Ikaris and Sersi were together and married as well, but obviously they split up, that's why she ended up with Black Knight. But then after all that happened, it's like, I don't know what I'm going to... She, at one point, Sersi was like, I don't know what to do now and all that. But Thena gave a good speech and was like, come on, let's do this. So, obviously, sadly, Kingo, that was it, Kingo who has the power like blasting energy, that's the Bollywood actor star, he decides to walk away out of all this and don't get involved. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe he'll come out for the battle, but he doesn't. He doesn't come out for the battle. But obviously, they go to the location where the egg is, obviously where it'll hatch and all that, and so they all head there. They start taking on Ikaris. Where they take on Ikaris whilst Sersi goes and does her plan. But in the fight, obviously Quo, the leader of the Deviants, makes his appearance and joins in the fight. But he takes on Ikaris a bit, and then all the other main Eternals start attacking Quo. But then Thena takes on him for the final bit. But then at one point he's got her, and it looks like he's going to kill her. But her using her powers, because obviously her powers is she can create weapons. And then she uses her weapons and everything, she kills him. And I'm like, oh, come on, stop killing your Marvel villains. I'm like, this is another Marvel villain kill thing we don't want. Which, I'm not really, that's one of the things I'm not pleased of. Even the one with Ikaris being the villain, I'm not pleased on that as well. More about those two later. But then after that, obviously, Sersi was going to be able to do a plan, but then obviously we see an illusion of Ajak, because Sprite has the ability to create you could say illusions, but it's more like hologram a version of a person, like maybe a multiple version of herself or something, like that kind of ability. And also make people invisible and herself with it. But then obviously doing that, she comes behind Sersi and stabs her in the back, which, that was a shock. But obviously she was okay, because one point it looks like Ikaris took down Druig, but obviously he got out fine and just hit Sersi with a walk, obviously behind her head, so knocking her out. I thought, in the future, I was like, you would have thought he used his mind control ability just to stop her, but no, he doesn't. But then they start doing the Unimind, and it actually works. Sersi actually finds a way to stop this celestial egg from hatching. They stop it. Ikaris obviously gives up, and he realised that what he did was wrong. But then next thing, he starts going to space, and he commits suicide by going to the sun, which I thought, okay, bit weird and all that. So after all that, the remaining Eternals, except for Kingo, because obviously he wasn't in the he was actually not there in the battle, so that was a weird and disappointing part, because I thought, he's going to change his mind and join the battle. But obviously that doesn't happen. But then Sersi she says, I can make Sprite, I can make you more a human, you can live your life, grow and everything, which I thought, wait, can she do that? Which I thought was a bit strange. But then after all that, they say goodbye to Sprite, now she could live her life and all that. Then we see obviously Sersi reunite with Black Knight, and then her saying that obviously it looks like, it's a happy ending and all that. And then saying, all my secrets are out to you now. And then now he goes like, yeah, there is a secret I haven't told you. And he goes on about, it's about my family. And then before he says about, we're the Black Knight bloodline and all that, next thing, the sky acts so weird. And then the Red Celestial makes an appearance. And he kidnaps Sersi. Sersi. Obviously, it looks like Kingo. And then Thanos. Not Thanos, Thanos. How he say his name. And it's like, it's like he's got them upon his hand saying like, so you decide to do this to me and all that, betray him and all that. And he goes like, I will be back for this planet. This planet will be judged. Because obviously his name is Ikaris the Judge, if I'm right. And obviously when he says that, he teleports out. And it's like, and Black Knight's like, what just happened? Where'd she go? And all that. So that ends like the film there. But we jump to the credit scenes now. So in the first credit scene, obviously after the final battle and all that, we see that Thane, the Speed Girl, and Druig, what they did in the end was they go onto their spaceship and they flew away because they're like, we're going to find the other Eternals and tell them that we've all been lied and everything. So when they're off their way to doing that kind of journey, they realise that, we can't get in touch with Sersi and the others on the Earth. And I'm like, something's happened. And Thena will notice that, the Red Celestial must have came for them. But then next thing, we see a weird portal opening. And then we see first some kind of troll makes an appearance. And it's like, wait, who the hell is he? And then next thing, he goes like, I introduce to you this, and then he makes like a good speech, like, I introduced you to this Eternal and all that, and it turns out to be Starfox. Yes, Thanos' brother, and he even says the brother of Thanos, and I'm like, yes, he's still a brother of Thanos, and he's like, hello there, and he goes like, I'm here to help and all that, and also we learned that the troll name is Pip, and I found out as well, it's like, oh, it's Pip the Troll, who was rumoured to be in Infinity War, to be played by, obviously, well, who turned out to be playing the Dwarf King, but now Pip makes his appearance in this, and he also says about, I'm here to help you find your friends, because he's like, I know where we can find, we're going to go and find them and all that. I think he says, I know where they're going, or he's like, I'll help you to find them. So it's like, okay, so like they're on the quest to do that now. Now in the end credits scene, like the very last one, we see obviously the Black Knight back in his place with a chess, and it's like he opens it up, and we see the ebony blade, and it's like, yes, is he finally taking on that mantle of the Black Knight? And at first, before he touches trying to go touch it, you can see some weird like symbolic kind of weirdness on the sword, and you can hear some whispers as well. And then next thing, you hear a voice that's not from the sword saying about, is he ready for it? And I was like, who's that first? And then when really thinking about it, I was like, oh my god, it's Blade, the actor who's going to play Blade in the MCU, which the director has confirmed it is him. So yeah, Blade just made his first appearance, but it was like an off-screen voice, and I was like, well, why not show us? Why not show him in the appearance? But I'm happy we just got that for now. So I'm like, maybe they're keeping the look a secret, what he's going to look like. But yeah, that's mainly much of the film, really. But what can I say about this? Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I think you will enjoy it. I mean, you might not like it, or you may like it, but it depends how you feel about it. The two, like I said, I had a problem was the having Ikaris turn out to be a bad guy, which, Marvel, he's not a bad guy. And I'm like, I don't know why they would make him a bad guy, but that's what they've done. The other thing as well was Crow, the villain, and it was like, he was only made 4 appearances in the film, like only 4 scenes. And I'm like, well, was there any point of this? And then the thing is as well with the Deviants, when I think about it now, it's like, wasn't it point to have the Deviants in the film? Because it was like, there was like, what was the reason of the Deviants involved in all of this? Because it seems like there was no reason really. Because I thought first it'd be like, oh, maybe they knew about the egg thing, and I'm like, oh, we're going to stop the Eternals from making sure the egg doesn't get born or anything, but there's nothing like that. It's like they just, in other words, it's just more like, oh, we're just going to attack for the Eternals and that's it. We don't know about the egg. I mean, maybe they don't know about the egg and all that, but I thought you could have thought something like that in there, like, oh, yes, for one, they want to kill the Eternals, and 2, we know about the egg, so we thought, we'll let the Earth destroy, because if we can kill you before the egg is hatched, we'll just let you die from the explosive. So, I thought there'd be something like that, but nope, that didn't happen. But the end credit scenes as well was, like, good. I mean, the ending was mind-blowing, like, that kind of ending, like I said, with that Celestial kidnapping the 3 Eternals, but it didn't see Sprite as well, so I'm like, oh, I don't know why he didn't kidnap her, or that was a bit strange, but maybe I thought, oh, because if she's like human now, maybe he couldn't find her, so maybe that's why. But then, like I said, the post-credit scenes, mind-blowing as well. Now we got Starfox, obviously Thanos' brother, and obviously with the other one with the ebony sword with the off-screen voice from Blade, which is like, oh, this is going to get interesting. And it will be, because after that credit scene, the last one, it says, the Eternals will return. So, I think that tells us they'll be back for a sequel film or somewhere down the line. But I hope it does get a sequel. I'm hoping it does get another 2 films, or more. We don't know how many of them thinking of. But for now, we'll just have to wait to see what happens. So that's really now, guys. Now, I'm sorry how I gave a spoiler of the film, really. I mean, because obviously that one part when I was reading the plot, I was like, wait a minute, that's not what happens next before that bit. So I'm sorry about how I gave the word out and all that. Now, I apologise again if I've missed some stuff out, which I have noticed I've missed out. So, like I said, make it as a surprise for yourself. It'll be a surprise. So, all I gotta say is, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and also leave a description. Obviously, leave a comment down below. Like, if you've seen the film, what do you think of it? Did you enjoy it? What was your favourite moments? What moments did you not like? And let's have some thoughts about the ending and the post-credit scenes, and theories as well, like what's gonna happen next and all that. Oh, and also as well, the following there, where was the X gene mentioned? You did not mention X-Men or X gene, but really I think they might be saying that down the line, like, oh, maybe in the sequel you're gonna learn more that, oh, Celestials credit X-Men and all that, but I thought they might have been mentioned in this film because I was really desperate for a mention of a mutant, but no mutant mentioned in this. I mean, not as I could see of, but if I find a video later and someone saying, oh, there was one, I'll be like, how did I not notice that? But I don't know. But like I said, if you've seen the film, comment down below, give me thoughts and all that, and theories on those, theory on the ending and the 2 post-credits, like what could be going on next and all that. Obviously, give this video a thumbs up if you like the video. Send this out to your friends, so let's say if someone's getting bored or they go like, oh, I want to watch something different for once on YouTube, show them one of my videos, and if they like it, they can subscribe to this channel. And if you're new to this channel, just what I mainly do, I do the Marvel and Transformers Cinematic Universe news. Well, obviously for this, it's a spoiler video, so I do those. I also do like the Super Bowl TV spots. Well, I say about the clips, but am I ever going to do one again? I don't know. And then, like I said, like this one, it's a spoiler review, so I do the spoiler review on the Marvel and Transformers. I only do like on the film side of that. I know I said I was going to do the spoiler for Disney Plus ones, but like the Marvel ones, but that didn't go as planned. But I did say maybe after Hawkeye, because it looks like Hawkeye is the only one from the last one from this year, not the Miss Marvel. I did say, oh, I might do obviously this year's shows and do a catch up, like quick reminder what happens in the show or what could happen next, like that kind of thing. And last but not least, if you see my last Marvel video, click here. My channel, make sure you click the bell, it's going to be notified when my new videos are up. And here to see my last Transformers video. So, that's really, guys. So, I hope you enjoyed this spoiler review video for The Eternals. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon. And also as well, we got one more film this year, and that's Spider-Man. So, I hope you all enjoy your day now. Peace.